What? Hey guys, welcome back. We're gonna do a little canyon drive. It is currently 4:36 p.m. and we're just gonna go on a nice little cruise. Some of you guys can tell this is Canyon Road. We're gonna do a little cruise on Encinal. I just thought this video would be a nice little, talking and driving video. Tell you guys a little bit more about the car, and you guys can kind of see firsthand how it handles, how it sounds. I'll put it in track mode right now. So right off the bat, this car has 4 driving modes. It has Tour, Sport, Track, and Snow and Ice. Obviously Tour is for the comfort setting. Sport is, when you're feeling like you want to get on it a little bit more. Track's really aggressive, and Snow and Ice is really chill. Obviously for when it's snowing or it's icy or it's just really cold out where the tires just don't have a lot of grip themselves. Me personally, I like driving in Sport because the throttle's a little sharper, but the suspension is still not super firm. Track mode, the suspension gets pretty firm, but it's not bad at all, but it's definitely on the firm side. Alright, so one of the main things I really love about this car, I love just about everything on this car, but one of the things I really love the most is something I didn't think I would, and that is the sound. The induction noise of this car and the exhaust noise on this car is really amazing. This car does a lot of burbles, a lot of pops. The pops are, you'd kind of classify them as gunshot level loud. It's honestly pretty crazy. And that's just something I really love, because I was first, thanks man, at first really set on getting a Mustang GT actually with the performance package, but I thought those sounded really good, and I still do. But this car, now at least that I'm driving it, I think does sound way better in comparison to the GT. The Coyote V8 is great, but this LT1 just has a really nice low-end growl to it. It really does sound kind of like an old school muscle car, but it likes to be revved out. It's almost like a nice hybrid in between. It pops in track mode, it pops in every mode, but track mode definitely it pops the most in. When I drive it, in manual mode, it definitely does even more. But there actually are some tunnels coming up, and I'll put the windows down, and hopefully you guys should be able to hear just how good this exhaust sounds. When you get into the higher RPMs, it gets super raspy, and on the low end it gets just nice and rumbly. It's a 6.2 liter, so you really do have that nice low end idle, even with stock exhaust, just has that blub 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 sound. Alright guys, so we're coming up to the tunnel on Canyon Road. There's a few tunnels. This is the first one. I'm going to put the exhaust in track, or the drive mode in track, which does open the exhaust up. You can't decouple the modes, but I kind of like keeping it in the auto mode selector. Maybe I'll get a little bit of room for you guys to put the windows down. Alright, hopefully you guys heard that car. It really does sound incredible. Even when the windows are up, it sounds really good. And I don't really know how Chevy or GM, did this, to be honest, but they have gotten a car that sounds incredible, loud. Everything's just great about it, and it doesn't drone. And this is a loud car. This car is definitely louder than my straight piped STI, and as we all know, those cars are loud, right? This is I'd say quite a bit louder, to be honest. And this is all stock. It's pretty amazing what it can do, especially in terms of the sound. And like I said, the induction noise, you really hear the engine sucking in all that air for combustion. It's really a great sound. You just have that nice airy sound, and right in the exhaust, it sounds super throaty and mean. And like I said, this is a mean engine. This is I'd say meaner, way more torquey engine than the Coyote. Coyote's great, it revs really high, it sounds exotic, but this car does have more punch. It just does. Even though it's not that much more torque, you have a much more displacement. You have 1.2 more liters of a displacement, and that just really makes a difference. that little pole. I was not floored that whole time. It gets up and goes. I actually mainly drive this car in manual mode literally because I get going on regular streets too fast, because the automatic just wants to rev the gears out so much, and it's like you just get going so fast. And you know, one other thing I really love about this car is it hides speed really well, you know, because I was thinking like, look, you know, the car is very fast, it sounds fast, but you can just be cruising on the freeway in tour mode with the exhaust closed, and you know, you're in 10th gear, 1000 RPM. You have no idea how fast you're going. Like literally, especially coming from an STI. When I first drove this Canyon, I was taking turns about 20 miles an hour faster than I thought I was. I thought I was taking them in mid 40s. I was taking them like mid 60s. And it's just pretty amazing how a car can do that. You know, now I'm coming from an STI, so that's you know, basically the most raw car you can get. But I mean, this thing is, it's super smooth, but it doesn't really lose out on the rawness factor, in my opinion, which is, you know, really amazing. I thought it'd be like, you know, oh yeah, this would be faster, but it wouldn't be as raw. I mean, I'd say the only thing that's not as raw is this is an automatic, but man, this is a great automatic. Looks like we're gonna have a nice sunset. Oh wow, look how good this looks. Wow, we're gonna have a good view for you guys. So just up on this left-hand bend here, as you can see, we're going 58 miles an hour. I'm not even going to do a lot of power through it. I'm just going to keep the speed. It feels like we're going 40 miles an hour or less, honestly. The car has zero roll. It's in track mode right now, so this is the stiffest, most aggressive mode. I mean, the steering weight's up a little bit. You just get the sense this car is not hesitating on any turn. On all the turns and you know, maneuvers I've done in this car, I've never felt like the car's been struggling or holding me back as a driver. I've always felt that this car has way more to offer than I can use nearly legally on the street. You know, and I've heard, you know, that's why you need to track these cars. And you know, I was a little hesitant at first because everyone says, oh, you need to track an STI. It's like, you know, you can reach the limits of an STI on the street. It's kind of rough, or it's kind of challenging, but you can. This car, I honestly, in most situations, don't believe you really can. It's just it's that good in terms of its performance, in terms of the grip. It's just pretty crazy. And this is a fully stock car. There's zero done to it. There is no intake. There is absolutely nothing. This car is 100% stock, and it is leagues better in terms of handling than an STI with spacers, with a Canon intake filter, with a straight pipe, with a rear sway bar from Perrin, 25 mil. It just really is, and it's amazing. I mean, this is, you know, a big car. This is a wide car. It's not that long. I mean, it feels long, but it's, you know, really not that long, but it is very wide. This car fills the lane. This car, it's something you have to get used to, and you sit really low in it, especially compared to an STI. And that's just one of the biggest things I noticed. Like from where I'm sitting right now, from my eyes, I cannot see. I can't really see the whole lane. I can definitely see the left line. I can see up ahead the right line, but I just have to kind of get a feel for how wide the car is. And the first few days I drove it, I was honestly pretty scared to like kind of hit stuff. That's why I would always kind of be way to the left, because I just didn't know how far the right came out. And I've definitely, you know, I'd say I'm pretty comfortable with it now, but it's still something I have to, you know, think about all the time. You know, the STI, sure, I drove it for a few years, but it was, that car had great visibility, and you were kind of more on top of the car, so you could see kind of all the corners of it. This car, you absolutely can't, like at all. Here, we can do a tiny little just jab of the throttle. So we're at 3,500 RPM, 4th gear. We're on 56 miles an hour. This is half throttle jab. We're already at 62, and it throws you in your seat, like just every time. It's never gets old. You know, the old saying, no replacement for displacement. I was always a little hesitant, you know, coming from a Boxster engine. Those are really potent for the size. I would say I'm leaning to the side of no replacement for displacement. It's really quite amazing what a good old V8 can do for you. Is this guy turning? He is not turning. And one other thing, track mode especially, you know, the car, you can get it to spin, but with traction on, honestly, the 305s and traction control really keep you in check. You know, sure, if you're in a turn, you can definitely go sideways with traction on, but you really do have to be meaning to. It's not a car, the 1LE spec is not a car you accidentally, you know, spin out in. It's really not, at least on the street. It has a lot of grip, and the traction control systems in this car are really amazing. You have different modes. When you're in track mode, if you like double press the traction control button at the right tempo, you have like 5 different modes, and it kind of allows different levels of slip. You can, you know, change so much stuff in the gauge cluster with all that stuff with traction control, and it's really quite amazing. So we're coming up to a right-hand bend right here. I'm just gonna carry my speed because, you know, I don't want to be going super quick, but I'm carrying 54, 55 miles an hour, and the car has just no roll. Like, hey guys, sorry that portion of the video ended a little abruptly, but my SD card actually ran out of storage. But there is good news. There's going to be an exterior kind of review of the car, a little more in depth than usual, and it's going up soon. But thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.